Okay, so the amount of requests I've gotten to rewrite the entire DCEU has been insane. Probably my second most requested video, besides to rewrite Spider-Man 3. I love you all, but I'm not doing it. So I figured, sure, sounds good. I feel like I complain a lot about the DCEU, so I much deserve the comeback. I'd like to see you do better. So here I am. Obviously, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do better than the DCEU, but these rewrite videos came from the idea of, if you don't like something, do it yourself. And whether this is good or not is completely up to you. So this is not gonna be like my other rewriting videos where I keep as much as possible from the original film. For this new DCEU series, I just want to take every film and just rework it from the ground up, because this time, I'm not doing a single film, I'm rewriting a whole universe. I'm playing God! And that means I just need to rework every film from bare bones, scratch open, just take the concept of the movie and make it my whole own thing. But I can't write the entire DCEU the way I'd want it in just one video, so here we go, baby! Part 1 of rewriting the DCEU with my version of a Superman film, aka rewriting Man of Steel. Play the title card. So first off, no origin story in this movie, and I say this about every hero we've ever seen on the big screen so far, but come on, we've seen it already. I don't want to see it again. Everyone knows the big superhero's origin, so no origin story here. And I also think this goes without saying, but since this is my version of the DCEU, we're not going to go with the same color palette as the DCEU. For this Superman film, I want a really bright color palette, almost Guardians of the Galaxy style bright. I want Superman as a character to pop on screen. He's the symbol of hope, so I think he deserves a bright, hopeful color palette to match it. Last thing before we get into the story, I want to keep Hans Zimmer's Man of Steel soundtrack. Say whatever you want about that film, but the soundtrack was bonkers and amazing, and I love it with all my heart, so that's our soundtrack. Now, onto the story. The film opens on 3 different crimes happening all at once: a bank robbery, a purse snatching, and some kids beating up another scrawnier kid. The difference between all of them is that the audience will think one may be more important than the other. Like, most of you probably are like, oh, the bank robbery is definitely the most important one. So we see a montage of a red and blue blur taking care of the robbery and purse snatching. And we know this is Superman, but we haven't gotten a good full look at him yet. Cut over to the fistfight in the alleyway. 2 boys are beating on the other boy, who is pretty much defenseless. The 2 bullies halt in their place when they hear him.
I don't suppose your mothers know what you 2 are doing right now, do they?
The boys turn around and we finally get our full look at him. His cape flaps in the wind and he stands with his chest out. It's like a comic book cover come to life. The triumphant theme of our hero plays and he steps forward towards the boys. The 2 bullies run away as Superman continues walking towards the kid who got picked on. He's still cowering. He doesn't even know that Superman's there yet.
It's okay, son. They're gone now.
The boy turns and his eyes widen when he sees who came to his rescue. He runs up to Superman and hugs him tight.
I thought you'd never come.
I never ignore a call for help.
Basically, with the first couple of scenes here, I'd really like to show a world where Clark has been Superman for, a little bit amount of time now. He's gotten pretty good at it, but not so much time that he's really gotten used to or accommodated to life on Earth being Superman. He's lived his whole life here as Clark, but being Superman is a whole other can of worms for him. He's in the spotlight. Living as Clark, he was, guarded away in Smallville, but, as Superman, he's everywhere. He's so good at being this hero, though, that the world has become dependent on him to solve all their problems. They've become dependent on Superman. I mean, come on, he's Superman. But they're not taking care of things themselves because they expect him to do it for them. So this video isn't going to be like most other rewrites I do. If this is your first time on my channel, usually I go in depth on big scenes and explain the entire plot of the film in detail, and I have voice actors, kind of like a couple scenes ago that you just saw. But for this video, I kind of just want to go over the overall message and feel of this movie, because I care most about those for this movie, specifically because of how wrong I feel they were handled in the most recent interpretation of Superman. But alright, we'll vaguely touch on the story. I liked the overarching plot to either feature Metallo or Parasite as the villain. Both of those villains are legitimately great matches for Superman, but they have yet to be used in films. And I also chose these antagonists for a specific reason. Superman can't really get close to either of them, and for his first time facing them, he's probably gonna need some help from good old Lois Lane and Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. Lois and Clark probably would be together in this film, by the way, just a little side note. I would like all of this present in my film because of one thing. I really want the message of the film to be that while Superman may be this god among men, he's able to lift cars, leap tall buildings in a single bound, he's a god. But he alone can't change the world. It's up to each and every one of us to aid in that effort. Earth as a whole is a community, so if it's gonna change, we gotta band together to do so. And this will be physically shown with Superman needing help from others to beat the villain of the film. He's never really needed that before, and it kind of messes with him a bit. He's created a somewhat complex for himself over the years. He's always been able to handle things on his own, and when our hero realizes that he needs help for the first time ever, it really messes with him. He feels that if he needs help, he is not a good enough hero for this world. But Lois is thankfully able to convince him that that's not how things are. He's an incredible hero because he never ignores a call for help. That's what makes him the symbol of hope, not the fact that he does it all alone. And Clark has to realize that he's not alone. And the big moment that helps Clark realize this is a recreation of this iconic moment here. Now, look, I know what you're thinking. Oh my god, of course he wants to do that. Freaking, so cliche. And yeah, of course I want to do it. Some people may see this as cliche or something like that, and I genuinely don't know how they could, because to me, this is everything Superman is. This is everything he represents. Not beating up bad guys who have kryptonite on their side, but taking these lessons he's learned here on Earth and using them to help others. This is my favorite Superman moment ever, and I don't think anything could beat it because, I mean, when I think of Superman, I think of this. So it's through this moment of Superman telling this lost and alone girl that she's not alone that he realizes that maybe he needs to take his own advice too. He sees something in this girl. He sees himself, someone who's lost and alone and doesn't feel like they belong where they are. Helping her shows Clark that not only is she not alone, but neither is he, giving him the strength to accept help from his friends and defeating the antagonist. In the final battle, I want there to be a call for help, not to Superman, but from Superman. I don't know what the villain has to do to make this happen, honestly, but in fully accepting that he can't do this alone, Superman's gonna need to ask Metropolis for their help. I'm not exactly sure, again, how this could happen, but I think for the completion of this arc I've just set up, something of that nature needs to happen. Metropolis is going to have to prove to Superman that he isn't alone on this Earth, and Superman is going to show Metropolis that he may be powerful, but changes need to be made together as a whole. Upon the epic final battle, Superman looks over the city of cheering people, but instead of staying above them, he slowly ascends to the ground. Superman doesn't want to be seen as a god. He wants to be seen as one of us. So instead of rising above them like a god, he lowers to their level, celebrating with them. Superman has truly found his place here on Earth, and his whole life he's felt like he's an outcast, like he didn't truly belong here, he wasn't one of us. But it's by the end of the film that we see that Superman is just as human as every one of us, not in biology, but in heart. Throughout this film, I really want to humanize Superman. I never really got big into Superman in my childhood, mostly because I just couldn't relate to him. I know there are many others that could, because I just wasn't in specific situations that could bring me closer to this character of him feeling like an outsider, and that's okay. I can't relate to every single character, but it's just why I didn't get close to him. But it wasn't until I read All-Star Superman that I got to feel that connection to the character. For the first time, Superman felt truly human, for me at least, and that might just because I didn't, consume a lot of Superman media as a kid, but that's the kind of character that I want here. I loved All-Star Superman because it showed us that an alien from another planet is just as human as the rest of us, maybe even more human than us sometimes. And that's the Superman that I want to see on screen. Alright everybody, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know this was a completely different style rewrite than what I normally do, so hopefully you guys liked it. If not, I think my next video, which will be revealed in the community tab, so make sure you check up on that. I think I'm going to go back to normal rewriting style in that next one, but I just wanted to give this a shot here, and also because I was really unsure of what the actual story would be of this movie, but I was very solid and wanted mostly to focus on the ideas of this movie. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Usually I would plug my Discord or Patreon linked in the description below, but right now I'm going to plug, we're doing a giveaway for the month of November. It ends on the 29th. You can go in the description, sign up. I'm going to give away a free copy of Spider-Man Life Story or something of equal or lesser value. The winner will be announced on November 30th in a specific video that I will upload on that day. And yeah, I mean, I hope you win. Go check that out. I just want to give back to you guys for being an awesome group of people that follow my videos. So as always, everybody, I hope you liked the video. If you did, share it to all your favorite subreddits or something like that. And as always, stay nerdy.